from honor to shame. Many books, movies, video games, and other things have been based on the story of Lucifer and the war between angels and demons between heaven and the underworld. According to Christian belief, soon after the world was made, the great angel Lucifer rose up and led a third of the heavenly army to rebel against God. After a hard battle, Lucifer was defeated by the archangel Michael, and he and the other rebelling angels were thrown into hell, which was made as a prison for them. After his fall, Lucifer became Satan, the lord of all evil, and the other fallen angels became demons. From that point on, they fight against the forces of good for people's souls and try to corrupt them and destroy the world. The Bible makes it clear that the devil exists first. God talks about Satan in 7 books of the Bible: Genesis, 1 Chronicles, Job, Psalms. He is also talked about in 19 of the 27 books of the New Testament. These books include Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Zechariah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, more than just the book of Revelation. The book of Ezekiel describes a picture in which God began the work of creation. He chose to limit himself to a certain plan or pattern that he did not want to deviate from when the animals were created. They fulfilled a certain part of this pattern or plan. When man was created, he fulfilled another part of this plan, and the angels fulfilled another part, but when God created this particular individual, he sealed the plan. In doing so, he completely completed the pattern he designed in the fields of wisdom and beauty. This means that of all the created beings, Lucifer, or Satan as he is called, is much wiser and more beautiful. He was a whole perfect innocent at the time of his creation. God created him without any flaw. He was so perfect that he was given a special ability, the power to choose the opposite thing, the ability to choose in a way or something that is contrary to one's nature. He was holy and perfect, but he was able to decide and choose an imperfect and unholy choice. In the book of Isaiah 14:12, the devil is called Hillel ben Shahar. The Latin translation is Lucifer, which based on this passage became the name of Satan in the book of Revelation 22 verse 16. We are aware of the fact that Satan's plan was to imitate God's plan, and indeed it was Isaiah 14 verses 14 to 13 details how he initiated his plan. I will go up into the sky to protect God's holiness. Even though Satan could get to heaven, this sentence shows how much he wanted to rule and live in heaven as God. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. What this sentence means depends on how you understand the word El God. If it means angel, Satan wants to be in charge of all angels. If it means heavenly bodies, he wants to be in charge of the heavens. I will sit enthroned on the Mount of Assembly on the highest points of Mount Satan. This shows that Satan wants to rule the world like the assembly of the Babylonian gods is said to have done. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. He wanted the honor that belongs to God. I will make myself like the Most High. This makes it clear that Satan wanted to be like them. Supreme stresses God's power and authority. Genesis 18:18. In order to be as strong as God, the devil wanted to use God's power and authority in this world. His sin was a direct challenge to God's power and authority. Satan's sin was even worse because he was smart and had a lot of power. His sin also hurt more angels and people because it affected so many people. All sin is bad, but sin in high places is worse and has bigger effects. The Bible's first words about Satan, an angel whose job it is to test people by putting them through horrible pain, come from the book of Job. It doesn't say that Satan is a separate being. It says that he is an angel of God. This is how God told Satan to do his job. Look at all that he has in your hands, but don't put your hand to him. Book of Job, verse 12. Let's go back to Lucifer. Lucifer had an air of mystery and danger that was hard to avoid. He was commanding, and the people around him felt both awe and fear. His voice was deep and powerful, and his words were full of knowledge and power. He was a beautiful, powerful, and mysterious being. Lucifer wasn't happy with his life in heaven, and he started to think about why God made him. He wanted to know why God gave him so much power and made him serve him. He grew angry and envious of the other angels, and he wanted to be stronger than God. Because Lucifer wasn't happy, he looked for answers to his questions. He was so frustrated and angry that he went to war with heaven to get the answers he needed, even if it meant killing God and all of heaven in the process. In the Garden of Eden, he tempted Adam and Eve with the fruit from the tree of knowledge. This was part of Lucifer's plan to ruin God's perfect creation and break the relationship between God and people by getting them to eat the fruit. Adam and Eve, who didn't know Lucifer's plan, gave in to his temptations and ate the fruit. This is how sin came into the world and kicked people out of heaven. He wanted to show that he was stronger than God and in charge of his own life. He wanted to be able to make his own choices and not be limited by heaven's rules. He wanted to be free to do what he wanted, when he wanted, without any worries about what would happen. A group of angels led by Lucifer came together to support his desire for freedom. They then set out to fight God and take over heaven. A group of angels who joined Lucifer in his war in heaven were originally made to serve God, but they chose to rebel against him and join Lucifer in his quest for power and independence. Up to a third of all the angels in heaven were Lucifer's followers. The main reasons they joined Lucifer were pride, ambition, and a desire for power. These angels rebelled against God and his authority to get power and independence for themselves because they thought they deserved more freedom and power than God was willing to give them. Another reason why these angels joined Lucifer was the desire to be equal to God. They wanted to be seen as equal to God and be able to make their own decisions without needing God. They wanted to be free to choose their own ways and to be respected as powerful beings equal to God, but they were no match for God's power, and they were quickly defeated in hell. Lucifer was filled with rage and hatred, and he swore revenge on God and all of heaven. He started building an army of demons and monsters to do this. The most prominent of Lucifer's demons and monsters are the fallen angels. These are angels who were expelled from heaven, described as giants or monstrous forms. They are incredibly powerful and possess a variety of magical abilities and are generally loyal to Lucifer and his cause. Finally, there are the various monsters of hell, such as dragons, vampires, werewolves, and other creatures of the night. He also created a contract that would offer people a deal they couldn't refuse. People will be assured that all their wishes will be fulfilled in return for a small payment. This payment can be anything that someone values, like their soul, an important item to them, or money. In exchange, Lucifer will give them anything they want, like power, fame, wealth, or any other kind of success. Lucifer's contract also promises that everyone's dreams will come true. People will be able to get anything they want, including the rarest items, money, and experiences. They will be able to live a luxurious life and get everything they had ever wanted. People can make their dreams come true and leave their mark on the world through Lucifer. In the Gospel of Matthew, it says that Jesus was led by the Spirit of God into the desert to be tried by Satan. There were 40 days of fasting and prayer for Jesus. On the last day, Lucifer came to tempt him. Lucifer tried to get Jesus to do what he wanted so that he could get stronger in return. Lucifer offered Jesus the chance to rule the world and control its splendor and beauty. He also told Jesus that if he trusted him and bowed down and worshipped him, he would not die. But Jesus turned down Lucifer's offer and chose to stay true to his Father, believing in God's plan for his life. Jesus responded to Lucifer's temptations by saying, Matthew 4:10, Satan, stay away from me, because it says to worship the Lord your God and only him. This is the end of one more story. We hope you learned something today. If you did, please like and share this video with your friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fun and interesting historical and biblical videos.